Hey everybody, I hope you are doing well. I'm a Fefe with Touch by Tarot and Beyond, and I am here to do a political reading today. Got a couple of things that I want to take a look at. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. I do tarot and oracle. I am a former journalist, so I try to approach things sort of from a more factual, grounded level, and then we go to spirit and see what's happening. I'm also a priestess and trained in many traditions, African and pagan otherwise. So try to mix it up a little bit for you. For those of my, you who are with me, my existing subscribers, new subscribers, thank you, thank you, thank you. Glad you're here. Before I go any further, have to say our thoughts and wishes, I'm sure I speak for us all in reference to those who are impacted or are being impacted by the hurricane. I'm on the eastern side of Florida, so fortunately we got by, other than a little rain bands here or there, a little bit of wind, no big deal. Really grateful for that. But again, those who were waking up to some incredible images from those areas that got hit and are looking pretty bad, especially in terms of flooding. So want to definitely, keep those people in our thoughts and prayers, right? Okay, you all want to take a look. Let's go in on New York. Woo! Mayor Eric Adams. We've been hearing a lot about him over the past year or so when it became clear that the DOJ was investigating him. There were lots of questions around his dealings with the Turkish folk trying to, give bribes, etc. And now, in fact, he has been indicted. There's some interesting texts that have come out when the feds investigate you for that long and they build their case, that they are building their case. They've got a lot of evidence. You all, as much as I'd love to hear your comments about this, as much as I am a fan of Hakeem Jeffries, supporter of him, looking forward to him, taking over and scooting Mike Johnson out and getting him in there, right, in the House, Speaker of the House. He came out with a really sanitized reaction to this. I guess I understand, and maybe many of you do as well. But in the face of what looks like some pretty damning evidence against him, against Adams, it was just interesting. It almost felt like this statement that he made, that Hakeem Jeffries made, that he's just sort of taking a hand. Well, everyone is presumed innocent. He will be judged by a jury of his peers, la la la. On the other hand, we have AOC, who came straight out and said, listen, not trying to attack you personally, Eric, but for the sake of the city, for the sake of services, confidence, in the public, from the public in this office, it's time for you to maybe scoot aside. I am going to spirit. I want to see what Kathy Hochul is going to do. She's not a popular governor, as many of you know. She took over for Andrew Cuomo, and that's part 2 of my question to Spirit, because I'm seeing whispers that Andrew Cuomo is in the background looking at making a run for mayor, that he had already been planning that. Apparently, when he resigned, you'll remember the sexual harassment situation, he resigned, and that's how Kathy Hochul got in. Those issues didn't follow it so closely, but from what I understand, those issues kind of got resolved, right? So he did not face any criminal charges. It didn't go on. It just damaged him politically. It damaged him. But he still has enough money in his campaign. He's got enough in his coffers to launch a serious bid. Eric Adams was already 3 years into his term. People were not happy with him. There's so many issues that New York is facing, immigration, housing costs, rising costs, etc. It wasn't looking good for him to get reelected anyway. So Andrew Cuomo has been in the background apparently thinking about how he's going to get back into politics. There were a lot of people who had widespread support for him as a governor, but it was just this whole issue with sexual harassment. So can he, in the age of women who have had it up to here with the shenanigans with these men, can he win, the public confidence and trust again to be able to do that? I want to take a look at him, you all. So first, let's get back to Eric Adams. Will Kathy Hochul step in and remove him? She has the power to do that as governor. So far, Eric Adams is being very defiant and saying, no way, no how am I going to step down voluntarily. Spirit, will Kathy Hochul step in and remove Eric Adams from his office? Will she have to step in and intervene and remove him? We have the Two of Swords at the bottom of the deck. She's going to avoid it. She recognizes how, what card is that just fell out? Six of Swords. Yeah. She's trying to figure out a way to spin it so that she can delay. She's already come out and said, I'm telling him you need to think about this really hard. You need to do something so I don't have to step in and do it. She does not want to do this. I think she feels that it would work against her in her popularity. Ten of Cups reversed. Yeah, she thinks there would be a lot of people who would see it as an attack on him, that she, while she has the power to do it, that she too should sit back and wait. I don't know that that's going to work. He's going to have to go. He has lost so much credibility. Seven of Cups. So I'm still looking at her, not him. Seven of Cups. She is weighing her options. She's going to be extremely cagey about how she approaches this. She does not want to have to be the one to step in and actually remove him from office. Spirit, will, despite, let me pick these up. Despite Eric Adams' defiance, will he wake up, smell the coffee, and step aside? Will he step aside? Will he step aside? Chuck Schumer is another one who, we're waiting to hear from him. Extremely influential out of New York. Will Chuck Schumer, no, let me back up. Spirit is saying one person at a time, Afefe, one person at a time. Will Eric Adams smell the coffee, and despite this defiance at this time, will he step down? Will Eric Adams step down? Yeah, okay, got it. So I don't even have to go to Schumer. He will. Ace of Cups. The pressure is going to continue to mount, and he will step down. I want to get a little more on that. The Fool, he has to. He has to. This is making room for new beginnings. This is an abrupt and I know he knew this was coming. He knew he was being investigated. He knew that this was ratcheting up. But he thought that he would be able to skirt the issue or perhaps buy more time. But he's going to have to find a whole different route to take. He's going to have to make room for someone else. And it feels like, and Nine of Swords, yeah. Because not only is this about him, Eric Adams, losing, having to step down and vacate the office. This is also about what happens in him being prosecuted. Will Eric Adams serve time? Will he actually be convicted? And will he serve time? We have the Page of Swords. That's going to be a long process. Four of Pentacles, drawn out, stuck. This is sort of a fixed energy, drawn out process. Drawn out. It's going to be a really long haul. This won't be something where, despite all of this evidence, and the Knight of Pentacles, I knew it's slow. Pentacles move slow. Knights are movement, and Pentacles are slower. So this is going to be a very long, drawn-out process for him. But I do think he has no choice except to resign. The leaders of the political leaders in the state, like Schumer, Jeffries, Hochul, I feel like this Fool, you all, is saying there is going to be there's somebody coming in fresh And is this Cuomo? Is this Andrew Cuomo making re-emerging as a political figure? It is the Star. Keep your eyes open for that. We're going to be hearing some more from Andrew Cuomo. How he's going to manage, I'm new and improved. I recognize the error of my ways, even though the fact that I was not prosecuted and it didn't go, I'm not behind bars, would signal that I've worked things out. But yeah, you're going to see Andrew Cuomo coming out and running for mayor. Interesting. And there's the Wheel of Fortune. Absolutely. There's a karmic aspect to this for him. And it is, again, Cuomo was a pretty popular leader. He was considered a rising Democratic star, expected to even perhaps run for president and do some more things on a national stage. So he was well liked and well respected. If he can figure out a way to do some damage control in terms of relaunching, there are enough people who would appreciate his pedigree and his expertise to allow the doors to open back up for him. So watch out for that. And the Four of Wands, a card of commitment, a card of stability. They want stability in the region. New York has been through some things between, what's his name, Santos, Bob Menendez. Like, there's been a lot. New York needs that, rather than bringing somebody brand new on the scene who would then have to prove themselves and win over the public. I think there's going to be some people who are swayed more towards someone like Andrew Cuomo. So be prepared for that. Let's see what happens, all right? Also, speaking of New York and things happening in New York, once again, we have Donald Trump's attorneys. Now they've gone and gotten an appeals court to agree to hear whether or not the verdict from Arthur Engoron and the Tish James case, the civil fraud case, the $450 million case, if in fact there was some overstepping of bounds there, whether it was too, the findings were too broad and just too much. And is that, it's not about getting it dismissed, but it is about perhaps having this $450 million judgment reduced. And if in fact that's being called into question, and we're hearing that this appeals court seems to be leaning a little bit in the direction of, in fact, siding with Donald Trump. Again, like, I don't know who his people are praying to, but it's just astounding sometimes. So let's take a look at that, you all. Spirit, is that civil fraud case, is it in trouble? And will the New York Appeals Court reduce that $450 million judgment? Is Donald Trump going to get a reduction of that judgment? Is the New York Appeals Court going to find in his favor? Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Yep. Three of Swords. People are going to be very, very unhappy. This is, of course, Tish James. Think about how much effort, how much time. This has been years and years spent. A lot of people very, very unhappy with that. The idea that this man, despite everything black and white, in print, proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is what he's done. And the idea that he could still skirt past it or around it. Appeals court. Page of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. Notice everything's coming up Pentacles. This is about money. This is about this $450 million judgment. So this is about money, and it is in pages. This is new. So this is a reconsideration of that money. And the Knight is the movement of, I feel like this is Spirit saying the adjustment of the judgment. So will it be drastically reduced, Spirit? Is this judgment that Tish James got, will it be drastically reduced? Four of Pentacles. Pentacles again. This is all about that money. And the Queen of Cups, that's Tish James. She's going to resist it. as with everything available to her legally, she's going to resist it. The Four of Pentacles is, this is what we have. This is like, it's fixed. It's pay attention, you know. We shouldn't have to step back from this. This man definitely, but there was a discretionary element in the judgment from Judge Ngoran. And the Ace of Swords. Yeah. It's going to get significantly reduced, you all. That's how it's looking. Spirit is saying it's going to get significantly reduced. And Tish James is Five of Cups. Oh, I hate it for her. I hate it for her. It's really going to be not just frustrating, but extremely disappointing in terms of the fact that this higher court can come back despite all of the overwhelming evidence. And that was such a moment of, you know, despite the fact that he put up the bond and there's been all of these delays, I think there's been a common perception that sooner or later, when the delays have run out, that this man was going to perhaps lose Trump Tower. Remember, we were talking about that. You know, there was going to be some of these penalties really, really enforced in ways that would demonstrably impact him and make him pay for this. Five of Swords, don't even know where to go with it. Once the appeals court comes back with this great reduction, there's just going to be such, you know, we've got two fives here, struggles, cups and swords. She's a fighter, but she's a different kind of fighter than, say, a Jack Smith, right? She's a fighter, but she also, I think at a certain point, she's going to realize that she's done everything humanly possible, everything legally that she could do to make the strong case, which resulted in that big, you know, that big decision. Unfortunately, it's looking like the appeals court is gonna do that reduction. So prepare ourselves for that. And finally, I wanted to close out today. So Zelensky's been around. Spoke with United Nations yesterday, spent some time with Biden and Kamala Harris. We saw that one-on-one because, of course, Joe Biden, you know, all respect to him, has been steadily, you know, moving back a little bit and pushing Kamala to the forefront there. So, but J.D. Vance and Donald Trump have been dogging Zelensky left, right, and center. Just, you know, calling him everything, just he's no good, blah, blah, blah. Zelensky, they're mad at him because he went to that plant in Pennsylvania. He was signing off on some of the munitions there. He called J.D. Vance, what was it, too radical, right? And so they've been spinning it, Trump and Vance and company have been spinning it that he's become a Democratic operative, basically. That he's, you know, clearly playing politics, and he's being warned by congressional folk, you know, the GOP, the MAGA-leaning folk to, you know, stay out of our politics. There was initially, it was like, okay, well, and if that's how it is what it is. No need for him to even meet with Donald Trump. Now we understand that this morning, I'm taping this really early Friday morning, that he is in fact scheduled, Zelensky is in fact scheduled to speak with Donald Trump. I don't know, Spirit, like, what is the point? Is this, I feel like it's, they're saying like, he's just walking a political tightrope. It's clear that there's no love lost between Zelensky and Donald Trump, going back to Trump trying to convince him to do, you know, his channels around Ukraine and the Bidens, etc. So there's no love lost there. However, Zelensky, what I'm getting, and we know this, Zelensky understands that for right now, things still are up in the air in terms of who's not just going to win the presidency, but Congress and the House. I mean, Congress and the Senate, right? The House and the Senate. I think that's what's happening. Is that what's going on in his mind, Spirit? Please confirm. Zelensky's walking this tightrope because he doesn't know. He's meeting with Trump because he doesn't know. King of Cups. I think Biden, think he and Biden had a heart-to-heart. And the 9 of Wands, he's tired, and Zelensky is tired. It's been going on now, what, over 3 years? No signs of letting up. I think he recognizes that he needs, bottom line, he needs the money. He needs the money, he needs the weapons. Strength. Exactly. He needs to keep things flowing from the United States to Ukraine. He needs that support, and to the extent he's very cognizant as he prepares going into this meeting with Trump today, and then the meetings that he's had, of the struggles to get that funding through that last session of Congress. Remember earlier in the year where they delayed due to Trump's edict. So again, he's meeting with him. Spirit, what is Zelensky's frame of mind today as he meets directly with Donald Trump? What is his frame of mind? They're supposed to be meeting in New York at Trump Tower, from what I understand. 6 of Pentacles, give and take. Yeah, he's going through the motions. It's pure politics. Feelings aside, he knows that Trump doesn't like him. He doesn't like Trump, but he recognizes that Pentacles, the money, he needs that money, that flow of money to keep coming to Ukraine one way or another. I'm also getting an impression from Spirit and the 8 of Pentacles. It's all about the money and keeping the money coming. But I'm also getting an impression, you all, Spirit is saying that for him, it's not just making sure that the flow of weapons and money continues to come through, but it's making sure that he has channels, multiple channels open for discussion. He doesn't want to be perceived as a Democratic operative. He wants to be perceived as a world leader. Remember, he also still has NATO aspirations for Ukraine. And so he's positioning himself to not necessarily appear to be completely aligned with one or another, even though we can see it for ourselves. We know the deal. So this is just him being protective of Page of Pentacles, all of it. It's about the money, you all. It's about the money and the support. And he has to, in order to continue to grow his cause and his case as a world leader. Again, thinking about NATO, we know that NATO has resisted including Ukraine and welcoming Ukraine so far, but it's not completely off the table, and I think Zelensky still has his eyes set on that. The Fool. Thank you, Spirit. That's what it is. He's looking towards the future. He's looking long range for Ukraine as a sovereign state and what he has to do as a leader, as a world leader, in order to effectuate that, no matter who may be, has their hand on the coffers here in the United States. Is that it, Spirit? Yeah, and Page of Swords. So it's just going to be when I was coming up, the old folks used to have a saying called nice nasty, right? It's when you're saying one thing out, you're saying things a certain way, but you also convey your true emotions. And also, Donald Trump could not afford, at this point, this close to the election, he could not afford to sit back and not try to have this meeting with Zelensky, knowing with all of, with Kamala rising in the polls and having met with Biden as well, he has to assert himself as, yes, he came here to see me as well. I basically summoned him. And so he had to come and hold court with me, sort of thing. That's how he's going to spin it. It's just, and for Zelensky, it is just about the money. 10 of Swords and the Ace of Wands. Yeah, he's just trying to get through it and do what he's got to do on behalf of his country. He'd rather be doing anything else, but this is what he has to do, just to make sure that one way or another he keeps the flow of money coming to Ukraine. All right, you all. I hope that was helpful. Some clarity around that. Keep our eye on Eric Adams. He's gonna feel the weight he's got to bow out. But interestingly, let's see what happens with Andrew Cuomo. Didn't see that coming. All right, you all take really good care. Remember to breathe. Stay calm. We got this, and I'll talk to you real soon. Going to check back in with you by the first of the week because we know Tuesday we've got that debate coming up between Walls and Vance. That's going to be a good one. All right, so I'm going to go to Spirit no later than Monday in advance of that and take a look and see what we can find about how that's likely to go. All right, you all take good care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.